Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to the PG Show where we talk about all things college football. Today I want to talk about the remaining 4 5-stars in this 2022 class. Where do I think they're going to go and what does their recruitment mean for these schools that they could potentially commit to? And then we got to talk about Jaxson Dart and Michael Trigg and what their commitment to Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin means. But before we go ahead and get into it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But also put down in the comments, where do you think these players are going to go and what do you guys think of Jaxson Dart and Michael Trigg? But let's go ahead and let's get into it. Herold Perkins, a 5-star linebacker from Cypress, Texas. He is the number 8 nationally ranked player, the number 2 linebacker, and the number 2 player in the state of Texas. He is a guy that is known as a dynamic two-way player, right? He can play both sides of the ball. In high school, playing running back and wide receiver. His junior year, he ran a 4.49 40 prior to his junior season. So he is an incredibly fast guy, right? And he's got some strength to him, although he might need to add a little bit more mass and strength. He is down to 3 schools, LSU, Florida, and Texas A&M. I don't think he'll go back to Texas A&M. I just don't think, unless he's looking for media attention and attention for himself, that he would do that. I think he's going to end up committing to LSU. Brian Kelly is doing something special down there at LSU, something that he couldn't do at Notre Dame. He can recruit pretty much any player he wants to. And I think he is going to do that with Herold Perkins. Herold Perkins, I think, will fit great in the scheme that LSU has, and of course, it's the SEC, right? He gets to fit in that narrative that the SEC is an NFL-style defense, and it's going to make him look better on those draft boards. Brian Kelly and Tommy Moffitt are not going to have a problem putting more size and more strength onto this kid. I think he is going to be a menace to any offensive line, and he's going to be a menace to any running back or quarterback that might be in his way. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know where you guys think Herold Perkins is going to commit in the comments below. All right, next up we have Shamar Stewart, 5-star defensive lineman from Florida. He is the number 10 ranked national player, the number 3 defensive lineman, and number 1 in the state of Florida. He is coming in at about 6'6", 270 pounds. He is being described as a menace on the defense, right? He is extremely tall. He has extremely long arms, so he is lengthy, right? He can reach out and he can grab those ankles, make those tackles that maybe a couple other guys can't. He is strong, he's fast, he's quick. He's going to be able to shed those blocks. But he needs to learn how to play through the whistle a little more, and he needs a little bit more experience. However, I think it's very important to note that Shamar Stewart has not been playing football very long. In fact, one of his teachers in middle school said that he needed to try out for the football team. And at first, he didn't like it. But after he wasn't picked, after he was picked last, most of the time in PE class, he decided that he was going to get good at football, that he was going to build up his strength, that he was going to get good at quick at his speed. So I think overall, Shamar Stewart is going to be a very good player the more and more he gets, development. And he could have been the number 1 player in this class if he would have, had a little bit more development in the high school level. But still, being the number 10 overall player in this class, that is nothing to scoff at. He is down to Georgia, Miami, and Texas A&M. Again, are you guys noticing the trend? Players are wanting to go play for Texas A&M. However, I think he's going to end up committing to Mario Cristobal and Miami. This is important to note because as Mario Cristobal is coming in as a first-year head coach for Miami, he is going to need to make a good defense, right? Because you got to, compete with teams like Wake Forest, Clemson, Pittsburgh, right? Syracuse, Florida State. Florida State is on the rise, but, Syracuse and Boston College, those are teams that you can't, scoff at either. That at any point, those teams can go score on you. North Carolina has been putting up points in the past. And so bolstering up with a good defense and making Shamar Stewart your anchor there on the defensive line, I think is going to be a great start for Mario Cristobal. And also, he needs to start recruiting players out of the state of Florida, which is something I think he plans to do. I think he plans to try to lock up that state. But let me know what you guys think. Where do you guys think Shemar Stewart is going to land? Let me know down in the comments below. Devon Campbell, a 5-star offensive tackle from Arlington, Texas. He is the number 9 overall player in this class, the number 1 offensive tackle, and the number 3 player in the state of Texas. He is known for his length, and he is college ready. A lot of people say that this guy can get on the field, maybe with just a little bit more strength, and start for you, right? He's going to make an impact. He's going to wreak havoc on that run and pass blocking. He is athletic. He's a two-way sport athlete. He's been playing basketball, and he can actually dunk the ball. So if that tells you any idea of how athletic this guy is, he definitely has the hops. But he is down between OU and Texas. So I have kind of heard that he is an OU guy. He likes OU, that the visit went really well for him. But his family might want him to go to Texas. We all know what Texas can offer. They can offer the NIL deals, but they can also offer you mediocre seasons. Texas can put together great seasons, but they're few and far between. And so, this comes into a factor where OU has beat Texas 4 straight times. Outside of the Sam Ehlinger year where they beat Kyler Murray, OU has pretty well dominated this rivalry in the past 10 years. And so I would say that I would think Devon Campbell is leaning a little bit more to the OU side. Bill Bedenbaugh is going to develop him and is going to put him in the NFL. And I think that is going to be a huge factor. I mean, look at it. Today, currently I am filming this on Sunday, the Chiefs are playing. And I think the Chiefs have, 2 or 3 offensive linemen from the University of Oklahoma, right? 2 of them I know are starting. And so that's huge, right? When you're recruiting offensive linemen like that, Bill Bedenbaugh can point and say, hey, look, I've got people playing in on the conference championship on Sunday, potentially the Super Bowl. So let me know where you guys think Devon Campbell is going to go in the comments below. Next up, we have Josh Conerly Jr. He is a 5-star offensive tackle from Seattle, Washington. He is ranked number 15 nationally. He is the number 2 offensive tackle and number 1 in the state of Seattle, or in the state of Washington. So this one's kind of interesting. He is another athletic two-way sport guy, plays basketball. He has advanced footwork. He's quick. He's really strong. But, they say he needs to add a little bit of weight. He talked highly of Coach Venables in his visit at OU, said it went really well. And he specifically said that in talking to Brent Venables that he knows that the work it will take to play on the O-line, and that a lot of guys don't come in and just play their freshman year for OU on the offensive line. However, I think Josh Conerly Jr. can be the exception to this with Devon Campbell, right? This is another guy where he has got a lot of talent, and quite frankly, on an offensive line for OU that did not look that good this year. And we all know Schmitty is going to develop this guy and make him a monster. So he is going to, be able to block those, big defensive linemen, especially when we get to the SEC. So 247 Sports has him at like a 50-50 split between Washington and Michigan. I just think he's going to shock the world and he's going to go to OU, right? Bill Bedenbaugh is going to put up a case for this man. And it definitely seems like he likes the university and he likes the integrity and he likes what Coach Venables and the team and the staff have to offer. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Where do you guys think Josh Conerly Jr. is going to go? All right, let's talk about Jaxson Dart and Michael Trigg, right? And their commitment to Ole Miss. Right? Jaxson Dart is the second best player in the portal next to Caleb Williams. And we all know Caleb Williams is still dragging this out, but that's a story for another day, right? He is the 2020 National Gatorade Player of the Year, and he played pretty well in the second half of the season for a freshman behind an offensive line that just, let's be honest, couldn't block, right? He threw for 9 touchdowns, had 5 interceptions, had 1,353 yards, threw 117 passes for 189, 61.9% completion percentage, right? Again, I want to point out he played in 5 games behind a bad O-line for a school that knew they didn't have a head coach, and they didn't, those players didn't know what they were potentially getting. So Jaxson Dart, I think, is going to fit well with Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. And quite honestly, I think this is a break for Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin has the potential to now put 2 quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think Matt Corral is going to be a first rounder, but I think Jaxson Dart has all the potential in the world to be a first rounder. He maybe could be a number 1 pick if Lane Kiffin develops him well enough. And I think this is going to be important, not only for what Lane Kiffin is doing now, but what he could potentially do in the future in recruiting. And I also think this is important for the college landscape. if Nick Saban continues to pump out quarterbacks into the first round and Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, and Lane Kiffin can produce Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks and put quarterbacks in the first round, all of a sudden the narrative shifts from, hey, Lincoln Riley is the best quarterback developer in the nation to, hey, Lincoln Riley he can develop quarterbacks, but there are other coaches out there that can do just as good of a job, right? And we're not even, forgetting Jeff Lebby, right, at OU, who's now got Dylan Gabriel and Nick Evers and Ralph Rucker and Micah Bowens. So let me know what you guys think about Jaxson Dart going to Ole Miss and what you guys think that fit looks like. But Michael Trigg is also another intriguing figure that goes there, right? Being short at the tight end position, he's going to bring a lot. And quite honestly, this was a guy I really wanted here at the University of Oklahoma, losing Austin Stogner to South Carolina. But talking about South Carolina, let's go back to Jaxson Dart a little bit, because I think the SEC is going to be a little interesting this year and in the coming years with their quarterback play. You have Bryce Young at Alabama, who's now a sophomore. You're going to have Jaxson Dart, who is a sophomore at Ole Miss. And then you have Spencer Rattler at South Carolina, and I believe he's a senior this year, redshirt senior. But this quarterback play in the SEC is going to be very interesting. These are definitely three guys that can go in the first round. I think Bryce Young might even be a number 1 overall pick. I think Spencer Rattler could be a number 1 overall pick if he just cuts down on the turnovers and the poor decision-making playmaking this year. But it's going to be interesting to see, is the SEC going to continue to get talent like this? But Jaxson Dart is going to have very good players around him. And a team that was, gutted at the beginning of the year, they lost all 3 of their running backs. They got the number 1 running back in this portal, being Zach Evans right now. Now, I hold all my validity on that one because Kamar Wheaton still has not entered the portal yet, right? Kamar Wheaton enters the portal, he might have been the best running back in the portal. But Zach Evans at the time is definitely the best running back in the portal. But then you've also got Michael Trigg as your tight end, and you have Jaxson Dart behind there. You're going to have a good offensive line. You're going to have good receivers. Jaxson Dart is going to have all the weapons in the world, and he's going to have Lane Kiffin, who's going to put together a high-powered offense for him. Jaxson Dart can be successful here. He gets the ball out quick, right? He has good decision-making. I know you might look at it and go, hey, Preston, he threw 9 touchdowns but threw 5 interceptions in 5 games, right? Hey, well, that's only 1 pick a game. And again, we have to remember he played behind a bad O-line. When you play behind a bad O-line, mistakes are going to happen. So we got to give the kid a little bit of a break. I am really intrigued to see what Lane Kiffin's going to do with Jaxson Dart. I'm also intrigued to see maybe if Jaxson Dart and Michael Trigg will play basketball at Ole Miss. But again, we will see that for another day. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. See ya.